Hi, welcome to this episode of Founder's Journey. Today we have an awesome guest, Daniel Metcalf. How are you, Daniel?
I'm wonderful yourself. Honored to be here, Jeff. Thank you.
Yeah. So, before we started recording, we're trying to figure out, do we go with Founder's Journey title or industry voice? Since you probably can speak very well and articulate very well in the cyber industry.
Correct.
And also, you have a very extensive background that led you to this road, this step of your life.
Yeah.
So we're going to call this episode Founder's Journey, and then for you to just talk about, we'll let you hear, but give us a little bit feedback on the industry as well of the cyber world. So Daniel, I'm going to turn the mic over to you and talk to our audience about what got you into insurance and what led you to open your own company.
Yeah, sounds good. I appreciate that. So yeah, as you said, I have an extensive background. I'm a recovering banker. So right out of college, I got in the banking industry, secondary mortgages, loan officer, and that's because my family was a whole long list of bankers. So I just kind of followed that family lineage. But I always had an aspiration to get more into marketing and more into computers. And so, because I really, at my house we had a computer on our block before anybody else. We had AOL before anyone else in our neighborhood. I'm dating myself a little bit, but so I always had a round computer. So right after banking, I got into building websites and internet listings for small businesses, small retailers, before Facebook and Google and WordPress were even a thing, right? And so I started building websites and helping them with yellow page listings on the internet and internet listings, things I called Alta Vista, right? To date myself even more. And from there, I just got an opportunity to work for media companies and agencies and direct response for a number of years. The 808, 800, and the Proactives of the world and Rosetta Stones, and helping them on their journey from traditional media like radio and TV into internet. That's when Facebook and Google was around. So we started learning how to do Google ads and Facebook ads on a direct response basis and landing page basis, which then led me to a job in media. So I started working for large media organizations, helping large retailers, especially in the furniture space and other retail space, go from traditional newspaper, website, ads, traditional ads to Google SEM, Facebook ads, SEO, things like that nature. And then starting to build websites again, but this time from an e-commerce standpoint. So we were building e-commerce engines and helping them sell furniture online, right? Instead of them having to come into a store or mattresses, which led me to the opportunity to start my own e-commerce agency. So I ran my own agency for a while, helping businesses digitally transform into that piece of it. And then my agency was sold to a security company of all things. So they were doing this company was providing security services. So think of like video and access and IT and cybersecurity for banks and credit unions, community banks and credit unions from that standpoint. So that's where I got to learn about IT and cybersecurity, but also because they wanted to add more services that they could provide the bank's credit unions. So I kind of migrated from doing more of the helping banks digital transform over to this IT and cybersecurity. Now that business was bought out. I need to take a step back. So that e-commerce agency that I had experience in helping build digital transformation in the insurance space, but on the ancillary non-medical health insurance space, right? Underwriting, non-medical health underwriting space. So we were selling dental insurance and vision insurance and short-term medical and pet insurance all online, right? Both from going direct through Google and Facebook ads, but also on helping recruit agents and putting this same ability for agents to use the same methodologies to sell the same products using their websites and their digital marketing and their profiles. So I got to do that for a while too. And then a long story longer, we just ended up selling. That business got sold to a larger security company, right? This very big, massive billion-dollar company. And they looked at our little agencies that we were running and going, those are cute, but that's just not really the direction that we want to go anymore. We want you to help us build out things to sell more enterprise level security. It just wasn't for me, right? It just wasn't a good fit for me anymore. So I got a phone call from a friend of mine who said, hey, do you know that they owned a life insurance wholesaling agency, and said, hey, do you know that life insurance agencies are now regulated under HIPAA? Like there's HIPAA laws that we have to worry about. There's these NIC model laws. I really like you to look at our cybersecurity for our company, right? And so I said, sure, I've got some time on my hands. So I started looking at their situation. And after 90 days and $30,000 of spending money trying to get both protect and compliant, found out they were neither, right? There was a lot of issues going on. So I said, hey, why don't we build you something? I'll go out, I'll procure you your own cybersecurity and your own service and your compliance, and we'll put all the pieces together and we'll do it for your particular company. And he's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And while I did that, we realized that a lot of his customers, right? So he has other agency owners that buy, resell their life insurance through him, right? Like an IMO. And they're like, hey, they're not going to know how to do any of this either, right? They're not going to be compliant. They're not going to be protected. They're busy selling insurance. How about we build a solution for them? And that's how CyberFin was born. It was born with the idea of trying to help, not only him, our co-founder, Chris Steffel, and his other agencies that he works with be protected and compliant. Nice little, way that we can help the industry and grow from that standpoint of it. And then we got on a mission driven, Jeff. So we started getting mission driven, like, wow, what we've built here, this new type of cybersecurity posture that we're bringing to the market, this ability to be able to manage it for them 24/7, 365. We could help all this medium-sized business. What if we could eliminate cybercrime from all of small to medium-sized businesses based on this new cyber posture and based on this new methodology? What if we could just eliminate it, right? How big would we have to get? How many small businesses would we have to get in front of? We just started getting that in the back of our mind. And so while we were adding more, helping out the insurance industry, adding more agencies and helping protect them and get them more compliant, some commercial agencies came to us and said, hey, we've noticed that if we start implementing CyberFin and that service to our customers, they're getting more competitive cyber liability insurance. They're actually open to the idea, first of all. Second, we're getting more competitive pricing and we're getting better and different coverage types. We really want to find a way to leverage what you're doing in the industry. We think we can help eliminate cybercrime by helping them eliminate the number one risk to their small business, right? Which has been, I didn't come up with it. Allianz has come out record couple years in a row saying, hey, the number one financial risk to a small to medium-sized business is a cybercrime, right? And in insurance, we're in the risk management business. And so we just started working with some of these cyber liability, those that are selling cyber liability, or wanting to get more in that game, get from personal lines over to commercial more, and using it by educating the public. We have a very comprehensive assessment that we help them create and that they can use in order to help them get and figure out what's going on inside those their customers, and helping them get the right solutions to protect themselves, as well as make sure that they have the right insurance plan in place, that if something does happen, that they're going to be covered. They don't have to go out of business because they got hit with a cybercrime. They have that protection on the front end and they have the cyber liability. Now we've been doing this since 2021 and we're growing really fast, but we're always looking. We're still on our mission today, Jeff, to try to eliminate cybercrime. It can happen, right? We can do it if we all work on it together. And as risk managers, we get out there and we start showing them the issue that's going on with cybercrime, show them what it takes to protect themselves, and make sure that they're implementing these things in order to make the bad guys go find somebody else or some other country to attack and go from that standpoint.
A lot to unpack here.
Yeah, sorry, big story.
So you and Chris, you guys met. What was that first conversation like that led to let's meet more and let's talk about more? And then that led to, okay, let's invest our own money. I'm assuming the company is bootstrapped?
Bootstrap, correct. Yes. Yep. Invest our own money.
How was that story like?
Yeah, so it was an interesting part of our arc. So again, we're working on providing it for him, right? Providing it for his company and his agency partners or clients, right? To make sure that they were protected and compliant. And when we started to see how effective it was, when we started seeing how happy our customers were, his customers were for having this service, and how protected they were, and how cost effective it was, right? So not only how relentlessly protective it was, but also how cost effective. He's like, I think we have something here in this market. I think it's worth investing our money and our time to be able to go build this out and get the message out that there is something available to them, right? That they thought that only enterprises could get it, that they think that only, that only their IT person can provide it. So we looked at it and said, okay, if we can get up and running, We can get invested. We find the right partners, work within the associations, relationships that we had, work within some of the other IMO relationships that we had. We can get, we can get the focus to be able to get it. And so with my experience owning businesses and his, I was the first one to say no, right? So I was like, I don't know, man. Seems like a lot of work. Seems like a lot of money. I'm kind of having fun just helping people as a consultant from time to time. A couple businesses at a time. He's like, and he did the real thing. He brought up to me. He's like, if you knew you could really change, right? You could really make a difference. Would you? What would stop you? Some time, some money. I mean, we can really make a difference here. Come on, man. Like really do it. And he hit it where that finding that why, right? We can make a difference, Jeff, right? We can make a difference in the cybercrime world. If we can just get enough time and focus and money, we can make a significant difference, and we're on the right mission here. And so and the rest is history from there, right? Once we had that mission focus, we knew that we could make a difference. It didn't matter the time and money. Let's go and get it done, right? And so for every dollar that we make, we reinvest it, and we try to get more and more of our voice out there, educate the agencies more and more to where not only they should be protected, but we need to get in front of their clients and make sure their small medium-sized business or understand that they're at a big risk too.
The first phone call. I'm just some agent selling life insurance policies.
Yep.
I have a website. What's that conversation like? Because most agents are not the one that designed their website. It's designed by a third party.
Right.
And third party are the one that always want to sell more service. So how do you differentiate yourself versus some third party that's in charge of building their website, building their technology, building their app? Thank you for all your support to our channel. Here is a quick word from our sponsor. Please click on the link below in the comment section to sign up for a demo with Track AI.
What if your insurance sales conversations could work harder for you? Meet Track, your AI-powered conversation intelligence partner. Track automatically captures and analyzes every customer interaction, providing instant call summaries, risk analysis, and AI-driven coaching insights. Say goodbye to manual note-taking and hello to more selling time. Track handles the admin work while you handle the revenue. Fully integrated with your favorite platforms. Plus, get custom AI analysis tailored to your unique business needs. Transform your sales team's performance with Track. Visit track.ai today.
Click the link in the description below to schedule a demo with Track today.
Yeah, we don't. So back when I had the e-commerce company, that conversation was different, right? On the cybersecurity side, this is how the differentiation goes. The first conversation, look, you are collecting, storing, and moving sensitive data, right? Especially you're talking about life insurance, right? You have to do that. You have to collect, store, and move very sensitive data in order to get paid, right? And not only to protect your client and get the right policies in place, but for you to get paid, you have to move that data, right? And collect and store it. That is a huge risk to you, right? If someone hacks you and someone gets access to that data, not only does that mean that there could be time and cost to fix the problem, there could be some fines, right? There's very significant fines, $50 a record, up to $1.5 million, up to 7 years, right? So there's significant fine amounts. That doesn't even include the state fines. And you're going to lose your reputation. Customers are going to leave when they find out about it, especially when you have to report to let them know that you're the reason why their sensitive data is now out on the dark web somewhere, right? And even worse, if they find out on their own that that's happened, you're really in big trouble. And so because we have seen an independent insurance agency go out of business due to a cyber breach that I just talked about like that, we never want to see another one go out again. And it is solvable. It's preventable, it's solvable, and it's not that expensive, right? But you just can't. So the differentiator is we have a cyber solution that fits with your IT company. So you don't have to worry about displacing your IT or what you do from an IT perspective. It bolts onto it and it is managed for you 24/7, 365. Right? And it has zero cost remediation. So if there is a problem, we go in and we can fix it, and you don't have to see another T&M bill. You don't have to see another bill that comes in from it, right? That's what makes us different. And the cyber posture is different. What the enterprises have found out, Jeff, is that if you put cybersecurity around each individual employee rather than the building, so the building's castle method, right? If we just lock down the building, right? We got our drawbridge, we got our we got the moat around the castle. We got the sentries there, right? We're going to protect everybody from the bad guy from the outside. Well, most of the attacks come from the inside, first of all. And not only that, but you need to be able to make sure that each individual, because not everybody's always in the castle doing business every day, right? Sometimes you're out remote, you're out in people's homes, you're doing other businesses, right? You're trying to, maybe do some work from Bermuda, whatever that might look like, right? Not everybody's inside anymore. So you need to have one where each employee has a 360-degree cybersecurity around it, not just inside the building itself or the building itself, the castle. So that's the method posture. Now, the enterprises found that out a long time ago, but everybody thought it was really, really expensive to do what the enterprises do. Well, we've made it so it's cost effective. We've made it so it includes the technology and the people that bolt on with your IT. So now there's no risk to the IT team. There's no risk to very low risk to the agency owner or the small business owner and that allows you then to be different. The other differentiator to the agency that wants to sell more cyber liability or get into cybersecurity is that we have now given them a differentiator versus their customer or their competition, right? Because, hey, they've got a cybersecurity service that has an assessment that the neighbor down the street doesn't have, right? So you're going to get this comprehensive assessment so that you can actually speak cybersecurity to the business owner, and we can provide them recommendations on how to better protect themselves and what kind of cyber liability insurance that they should get. And depending on that customer, they might actually get a discount on their premium, and they might also get better and the right coverage types compared to the person on the street that's relying on their own education to sell the cyber liability insurance, right? From that standpoint. So now they've got double differentiator. They have a new cyber posture that the enterprise level have that they can afford, and they have something new to show to their clients, because that's all. And everybody wants to talk about cybersecurity, right, Jeff? It's the number one financial risk, right? Everybody wants to talk about it, but a lot of the agencies are scared to talk about it because they don't want to say the wrong thing. They might not have a good security partner like us to help them navigate these assessments and underwriting. Now they have that differentiator from that standpoint.
How are you guys different versus I'm just mentioning some company I know, like a Cyberbit or like a security scorecard?
So they'll do the assessment, right? So a security scorecard, they do the assessment, and depending on how those assessments go, that's great. That just provides the information. Who's providing the tools, the management, and the insurance? Right? The cyber liability agency, right? The one that has they're going to provide the cyber liability. We don't sell cyber liability insurance, right? We help you with the assessments and then provide you the cybersecurity tools and people to fill the gaps when we realize that the customer doesn't have the right cybersecurity in place, right? They're at risk because they don't have the right cybersecurity in place, right? They've got gaps in their cybersecurity. They don't have somebody managing and monitoring 24/7, 365. So that's where, yes, if they want to use another party to do the cyber risk assessments, we'll help them read it. We'll help them provide the recommendation to then give to the client.
And how long has your company been around now?
So we started in 2020. We officially started in 2021. So we started building the solution for his company in 2020, Chris's company in 2020, and then we started launching it to the public in 2021.
What's the growth like?
So right now we grow 10% per month based on bootstrapping it. We know that if we could continue to find the right team members, we're looking for our next best team members every single day. If we can start finding the right team members, we start partnering with the right agencies, get more of the education out there, we could easily grow, 25, 50% per year, right? And scale from that standpoint of it, because cybercrime's not going away until we start doing it, right? Cybercrime's a $3 trillion industry. There are nation states who basically run their whole GDP and a lot of their nuclear missile programs, and they have people that put suits on every single day and go into high rises in North Korea and China and Russia, because this is their job, to go steal money from Americans. So until we start doing something about it, we can continue to help, and we can grow from there and work with a lot of people to make sure that we can take care of this.
Have you guys taken on any institution money?
No institution money up to this point.
Can I ask, is there a reason, preference?
Honestly, we've been just working our mission so hard, right? From that standpoint of it, that we just haven't had any, we haven't gone out and tried to seek money to this point, and we really have only had a few people kind of reach out to us and say they're interested. So we're so focused on our mission, we haven't slowed down long enough to say, hey, maybe we should go look at some institutional money. Maybe we should try to run a series, right? From that standpoint, all my business has been bootstrapped too. So some of it might be just lack of experience.
Gotcha. What's on the next roadmap for the company growth and tech wise?
So from a tech standpoint, we want to get even more involved with some technology that can help us from the compliance standpoint, so that we can start helping manage larger agencies or other regulated, if they have regulated customers, help them manage their compliance and their because vendor risk management is going to be a big deal here in 2025, where you're going to have to start to manage the risk of your vendors, right? And their clients are going to have to start doing more and more of that vendor risk management, especially if they want to have if they have government contracts, or if they have certain contracts that have to do with critical infrastructure or things like that. There's going to be some more rules if they handle any financial data, right? There's going to be a lot of changes in laws that are going to go in place, and we'd like to be able to invest in a tool that can help us manage to make sure that not only are they compliant, right, and be able to show that, but also their clients are compliant too. The other piece of our roadmap is if we can start to mesh together even more security tools when it comes to some of the more unique and changing ways of cybercrime that are out there, like invoice manipulation, from there, more mobile attacks that are starting to happen, AI attacks, right? Is there some additional software that we can start to add to make sure that we slow down some of the AI attacks against businesses? Now we use it part of our
How
stack.
much are you seeing right now?
What's that?
How much are you seeing right now, AI attacks?
Oh, it's exponential at this point. So our tool does use AI and machine learning today. It's used it for a long time, right? But those attacks are getting more and more sophisticated and more intense as the days go on each day, right? And those are mostly going towards the enterprise levels, the larger businesses, but as soon as they start figuring out, it's going to start moving into that small and medium-sized business range. And so we're going to have to up our AI game too, if we're going to compete, make sure that we can fulfill our mission.
When you work with your clients, have any of them told you how much difference is making on their cyber liability insurance?
Yeah, many instances, it's all over the board, right? Some of them will tell us, yeah, it helped them save, 15 to 20% on their cyber liability. And some of them are just like, yep, didn't really made us a little bit of difference, but not that significant difference. It all depends on the type of business it is, and all depends on what type of data that how sensitive the data is and how big of a business they are, right? But at the end of the day, they all comment the same. I sleep better at night. We had a little bit of an incident that you had to clean up for us, and it could have been a lot larger if you guys weren't managing it for us 24/7. And now I didn't even have to use my cyber liability policy because you were able to go in and effectively fix the issue without having to charge us for the incident, because you were able to isolate and take care of it right away. It didn't get expanded. It didn't make it to any of my customers' data, right? It just, we saw a little of an incident and never made it to our customers' data. So now we don't have to report it, things like that. So not only do we save them in time, we save them in energy, we save them in reputation, not just always in lower cyber liability costs.
I wonder if you could partner up with all the cyber MGAs and carriers and have like a little checkbox for them to refer business over to you, and then you guys can do affiliate rev share throughout with each other. And then, it's better for the carrier, less claims, less exposure, better loss ratio.
It's almost like we practiced this, which we didn't, right? So we just started our CyberFin Alliance a year and a half ago is what we call it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the Alliance program. Same idea, right? It's an affiliate program where, yes, they make a little bit of, if they refer over CyberFin solutions and we make sale, they make a little bit of money from that standpoint of it. And if they sell cyber liability, they still get the full commissions and overrides on the cyber liability. We do not look to take any money from that side.
I almost feel like your next product should be a rater, and then just write out the MGAs and the cyber carriers.
Right. There may be a rater we're talking to, or two or three.
So,
do you have any familiarity with pro writers at all?
Example?
Have you heard of pro writers at all?
Mm-mm.
So that's a rater that we're looking to try to get a deeper partnership with, and or maybe expand their software capabilities in order to do more, to what you're suggesting, right? Adding more pieces like the cybersecurity, not just the insurance.
Would the rater allow you to bind directly after the quotes?
That's what I'd like to explore and see if we can figure out a way to do it. Yep, bind it directly.
Interesting. How do you see the industry evolve in the next couple of years with AI now hacking everybody?
Two things in the industry that I think is going to be significant with AI. One, cybersecurity is going to become a culture thing for a company, right? It's going to be what people talk about when they're saying, "Hey, I have a job opening," or I want to sell you some. People are going to start to ask, "Well, tell me about your cybersecurity posture. Tell me about how my data is going to be saved. I want to research on, what you're doing for cybersecurity and how you're going to protect me." How I do believe that it is going to change the culture. Like, you're going to start to see businesses who are going to start to express, "Hey, we're a cybersecurity company, right? This is what we do in order to." Second of all, we're going to see some of the people who are hit by AI start to realize that their insurance policy does not include certain incidents, right? That they're not going to, well, like those that are specific to AI, or those that are indirectly. So I'll give an example of one that maybe isn't AI based necessarily, but is something that they're going to realize that their cyber policy doesn't cover, even a standalone policy. There was a cybersecurity incident in which a ambulance system was hacked, right? And the ambulance, which was an ambulance that was not part of a hospital, but it was a third-party ambulance, right? Then goes and they aren't able to find the person that they're supposed to be going to help, right? Because the system was hacked and they couldn't log in to tell them what house that they're going to and the person that, right? So they got to the place late, right? So that's all the time. And then when the person was in the ambulance, they couldn't get all the information that they needed, couldn't get them to the hospital, and then they passed away.
That's wild.
So who's liable?
That's a crazy story.
Who's liable? Whose cyber liability does that go under?
I don't know.
All right. So that's kind of the issue, right? So now they're trying to create product because, now they're trying to create products of what they call on this.
Wait, is the ambulance driver third party? Who owns the ambulance and who's the driver?
Well,
Is it
it
two
was a
separate
third
companies
party
or
that
one
owned the
company?
ambulance. Third party owns the ambulance, and they're just
Yeah, most
using the
ambulance are third party.
Yeah, and they're just using the system, from the hospital when they get sent out to that location, right?
So I would say the lawsuit have both companies' name, the name of the ambulance company, and also the hospital that the call was placed.
Right. Well, but what if they wouldn't name them because they didn't know
Because-
that's what they should have been doing?
Because at the end of the day, your medical bill gonna come from the hospital, your ambulance ride gonna come from the hospital. The ambulance company gonna charge the hospital, let's just say 10 grand for that ambulance ride.
Right.
And then the hospital gonna charge you 50 grand for that ambulance ride. So the people responsible are the direct people that's sending you the bill. Right?
Right.
And I'm trying to go down this rabbit hole because
Yeah, you could go down this rabbit hole, but you can see where some of these changes are happening. It's like there's these downhill effects. It's not just always the company, right, that gets hacked, that is the one that gets negatively affected. There's downstreams to that negative effectiveness, right? So that's where this, like you said, we need to start creating, there's a product out there, like a cyber umbrella policy, right? That not only protects you, but you can put other entities underneath it with you to make sure that everybody's protected from that cybercrime, not just
then
business, right?
technically the people who make the machine is also tied to the lawsuit. Because if they didn't do a good job to protect their machine,
Right.
whether unintentional or negligent, right?
Right.
So that's 3 liable.
Right.
And also, if the driver didn't get the proper training, then
Right.
whoever trained the ambulance drivers, that's probably a subbed out third party as well. So that's 4.
Now let's
That's
go
a
down another
weird-
rabbit hole. So what if someone could argue that a social engineering attack by a human versus a social engineering attack because by an AI bot could be different? Has to have different coverage. What if there's all these different routes that could start looking at what could happen if a difference between a deep fake, right? Because you're using
Mhm.
AI and you get hit with a deep fake where, right, you think you're talking to the CFO, it all looks the same, right? Everything. I mean, how do you say, hey, I was the one being fooled when I literally thought it was that person?
Deepfake has been very successful lately. I mean, there's so many
Huge,
deepfake stories.
huge. $700,000 the last one I heard, like an attorney gave up.
They attack the
Big,
accounting department. They find out who the accounting department is, and they just go at them and
oh,
paying bills and figure out who the invoice companies are.
right. Did you see that Vertafore, which is a cybersecurity company, right? They do employee awareness training, right? They were fooled by a deep fake and they hired a software developer based on a deep fake.
You know, I just thought about something. Insurance premium financing companies,
Yep.
they handle billions and billions, and they build insurance agents and truck drivers and E&S policyholders. I mean, anytime when there's premium financing involved, that is probably a lot of liability potential risk there.
Yep.
That made me think about all the premium financing bill I ever had.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well, Daniel, thank you for coming on and
Yeah.
talk about your company. And I'm curious to 6 month, 9 month, 12 month, I'll bring you back on. Where
Sure.
will you
Yeah.
guys be at? What do you foresee the next year? Where will you guys be at? What challenge are you guys going to tackle?
We want to challenge grow our CyberFin Alliance so that we can start getting in front of their small and medium-sized businesses and help them drive more revenue to their, right? Help them get deeper in the commercial space, get the right cyber liability policies in place. And so our tackle is we want to be able to triple the size of our CyberFin Alliance, get one alliance in every state at least, right? Or major metropolitan, so that we can start getting the message out. Because one of our core values, Jeff, is knowledge is power. And so we do education events, right? We do in person, we do webinars, we provide social media, all designed to let small and medium-sized businesses know that cybercrime is their number one financial risk and that there's a solution out there for them. You need to partner with your agent and your risk manager or your business consultant to find out what that option is. So we see ourselves doubling in size, both from a alliance standpoint as well as a revenue standpoint in 2025, and get to that magic $1.5 to $2 million in ARR, which starts to get noticed in that industry money side of it, right?
2 million ARR is a great place for raising your first round. So, well, Daniel, thank you for coming on the podcast, and I'm going to get an intake form out to you.
Great.
And then you can fill out all your information and then send it over to us so our audience can follow you and connect with you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jeff.